Hello everyone, I'm Harry, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to look at the Spark 40-watt amplifier by Positive Grid. So before we get started, if you like this demo video at any point, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and hit the little bell notification for me as well. It really does help me out a lot, and that way you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. There's going to be affiliate links down in the description to every piece of gear I used in this video and to record my videos. These do help support the channel out further, so I'd really appreciate if you go and check them out. I do have to say that Positive Grid sent this amp and are paying me to make this video, but that does not mean that they are paying me to say good things and obviously not bad things about the amp. That's just something I need to tell you. So the Spark is a digital modeling amp that has received a lot of buzz recently, and today in this video I'm going to check out all that it has to offer. It's been dubbed one of the best practice amps you can get, but we'll truly see how good it is in this video. You can either have electric guitar amps, acoustic guitar amps, or bass amps from this amp. Like I said, it's a 40-watt amp, and we have up to 30 different amp types and 40 different pedals, giving us over 10,000 plus possible tones. So we have a guitar input, an auxiliary input for backing tracks or music, and a headphone out for silent practicing. We also have a USB out, so you can use the Spark as an interface and record directly from the Spark into your computer, which is how we're actually recording today. Frequency range on this is from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So let's have a look at some of the controls on the front panel. So we have the amp type switch that goes from acoustic to bass to clean to glassy to crunch to high gain and to metal, which can be whatever you like. We have built-in presets that you can change to whatever you like also. There's a tap tempo for the different effects, tuning if you hold down the tap tempo, a music volume control, and of course the headphone out. Then we have a gain, bass, middle, treble, master volume for the amp tones, then a mod, delay, and reverb control for the different effects, as well as an output volume for the guitar sound, and again, the music volume is for backing tracks or music. You can use the Spark as a Bluetooth speaker if you want. You could even use it to connect to your TV, anything like that. So that's the hardware pretty much. Now, the main thing about the Spark is the software. There's loads of different things you can unlock using the software. For instance, we have Smart Jam, which will actually analyze your playing and generate bass and drums to match that to practice along to. There's auto chords, which allows you to connect the Spark to Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. You can play a song and the Spark will listen and actually tell you what chords are being used. Now, I've tested this out, and for the most part, it's very accurate, but there are some chords that are hit and miss. So it's a good starting point, or even very accurate starting point, but you do still need to listen out to make sure that you're getting the right chords. There's voice command on the app if you wanted, so you could voice command in, play drums, and it'll start playing drums for you. The speakers are full range. When you're using backing tracks or music, you're actually hearing them how they're supposed to be heard. And of course, one of the best features is the home recording via the USB out, which, like I said, we're doing in this video. Okay, so now I've got the Spark app. So as you can see, we have our effects across the top of the amp and some more effects over there. So we'll have a look at what there is to offer first. So here you can see Apple Music and Spotify, which you can use for the auto chords feature or just to play music through that, but you could just use the standalone app on your phone. Down here is the Smart Jam section, which you can pick, and of course loads of different backing tracks and tabbed out songs and stuff like that you can use. There's also a video recording feature in the bottom that you can use if you want, but there's also the tone clouds, which will allow you to actually download loads of presets that are either from Positive Grid or community driven to get some preset sounds, say for like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Yngwie Malmsteen, anything that you can think of is probably in the tone clouds. And of course, you can save your own presets and upload them to the tone cloud as well. Songs that I was looking at before, so the auto chords feature, just turn the volume down so I don't get copyrighted. But as you can see, it plays the video and it shows you the chords that are being used at that point in the video. So if you skip ahead, it'll actually skip the video ahead and then it will show you what chords are being used. It's a really cool learning tool and can really come in handy as well. Of course, you can see a bigger view like this. You can speed up. Up here, we have our presets. Some presets built in. You can change these to whatever you like. And of course, you've got the tone clouds where you can search for loads of different things like classic Marshall, Metallica, Dire Straits. Again, this is Positive Grid driven as well as community driven, which is really cool. Then, of course, you can overwrite the preset, save as new, share to tone cloud, or save to a hardware preset. So you can save that preset to your amp and not even have to load up the app, but the app is really the thing that drives this so well. So as you can see here at the top, we have our effects that go before the amp, and then modulation, delay, and reverb that go after, which makes a lot of sense. You can turn these on and off by swiping up or swiping down for on, or you can just turn them on when you actually pull them up. So we have a gate section, compressor section, and we have a LA comp, sustain comp, red comp, which is kind of like a dyno comp, bass compressor, and an optical compressor. Then we have our drive section, which is a booster, which is kind of like a micro amp. Tube drive, which is probably like a tube screamer. Overdrive, which is probably like a Boss OD1 or SD pedal. Fuzz face, black op, which is probably like a rat pedal. Bass Big Murph, guitar Big Murph, bass master, and sab driver. And then in our mod section, we have tremolo, chorus, flanger, phaser, vibrato, univibe, cloner chorus, which is like the electro harmonics chorus, Classic Vibe, which looks like the Voodoo Labs Vibe, Tremulator, and Square Wave Tremolo. Then in our delay section, we have digital delay, echo filter, vintage delay, reverse delay, multi-head delay, which kind of looks like a space echo, and an echo tape, which is probably like an echoplex. Then in the reverbs, we have Room Studio A, a chamber reverb, a natural hall reverb, short plate, ambient hall, rich plate, medium hall, long plate, and Room Studio B. So I'm just going to put a short plate on for use when I'm demoing the amps, but we will have a further look at all the effects afterwards as well. So I'll turn all the effects off except from the noise gate, because that really comes in handy for the more gainy amps. And like I said, I'm leaving the plate reverb on. So now we'll have a quick look at the amps. So Silver 120 is kind of like a Roland JC 120. The Black Duo is kind of like a Fender Twin Reverb. AD Clean is like a clean Orange AD30. Match DC is like a matchless. Tweed Bass is like a Fender Tweed Bassman. AC Boost is like an old Vox Top Boost AC30. Checkmate is like a Ty-Sky Checkmate 20. Two Stone SP50 is kind of like a Two Rock Studio Pro. American Deluxe is like a Fender Tweed Deluxe. Plexiglass is like an old Marshall Plexi. JM45 is like an old Marshall JTM 45. Lux Verb is like an old Deluxe Reverb. RB101 is like a Bogner Ecstasy 101. British 30 is a higher gain version of the AD30. American High Gain is like a Mesa Boogie JP2C. SLI 100 is like a Soldano. YGM 100 is like the Yngwie Malmsteen Marshall Signature Amp. Tread Plate is like a Mesa Boogie Triple Rec. Insane is like an EVH 5150. Switch Axe is like a H&K Switchblade. Rocker V is like an old Orange Rocker Verb. BE 101 is like a Friedman BE 100. Then we have some acoustic amps. So we have the Pure Acoustic, which is a Positive Grid original. We have the Fishboy, which is like a Fishman acoustic amp. The Jumbo, which is another Positive Grid original. The Flat Acoustic, which is another Positive Grid original. Then we have some bass amps. We have the RB800, which is like a Gallion Kruger 800 RB. The Sunny 3000, which is like a Sun 300T. The W600, which is like an Eden WTP 600. Then the Hammer 500, which is like an Aguilar Tine Hammer 500. So that's all the different amps. So now the most important thing, we'll get into some sounds. So we'll check out all the amps first, and then we'll look at the effects. Okay, so like I said, we're going to check out all the different amps first, and then the different effects. I'm just using this 1956 Reissue Goldtop. So let's start with the Silver 120, which is kind of like a JC 120. Okay, so the next amp is the Black Duo, which is kind of like a Fender Twin Reverb. So one thing I have noticed with the Positive Grid Spark is that it can be quite bass heavy. So a lot of the time I actually pull the bass down and pull the treble up. It's definitely not a bad thing because some people like a lot of bass, but bearing in mind for my taste, I just pull the bass and treble up. Okay, so the next amp, AD clean, which is like an orange AD30 set clean. Okay, so next we're going to look at the Match DC, which is kind of like a matchless DC 30 amp. Okay, next, got tweed bass, which is like a Fender tweed bassman. Get a bit more of a clean tone going on. Okay, next, look at the AC boost, which is like an old Vox AC30. Okay, next, the Checkmate, which is like a Tice called Checkmate 20 amp. Okay, next we got the Two-Stone SP50, which is kind of like a 2-rock amp. Next, the American Deluxe, which is kind of like an old Tweed Deluxe from Fender. Next, got the Plexiglass, which is like an old Marshall Plexi. Okay, next we've got the JM45, which is like a Marshall JTM. Okay, next we've got the Luxfer, which is like an old deluxe reverb. Okay, next next, we've got the RB101, which is like a Wagner Ecstasy. Sounds pretty good. Next, got the British 30, which is a higher gain version of the AD30. Okay, next we got the American high gain, which is kind of like a Mr. Boogie JP2C. Next, we got the SLI 100, which is kind of like a Soldani. Okay, next we got the YGM 100, which is kind of like the Yngwie Malmsteen signature from Marshall. Okay, next we've got the tread plate, which is kind of like a Mr. Boogie triple rectifier. So next, we've got the Insane, which is like an EVH 5150. Okay, next, we've got the Switch Axe, which is kind of like the Hughes and Kettner Switchblade. Okay, next we've got the Rocket V, which is like an orange rock reverb. Sounds pretty dark, so I'm just going to pull the bass down a bit, maybe the treble up. Finally, for the guitar amps, we've got the BE101, which is like a Friedman Brown Eye. Gonna try a bit more treble for me. So that's all the guitar amps. Of course, you can plug in an electroacoustic and use the acoustic amps as well as bass amps, but we're not going to look at in this video. Okay, so now we're going to look at some of the built-in pedals. So we've got the gate, which I'm just going to leave on because it just reduces the noise and sounds good that way. Okay, so we'll look at the compressors first. So let's go to the very first compressor, LA Comp. We're just going to kind of use the presets. As you can see, you can limit or compress it. We'll just use the compressor. It's just compressing our initial attack a bit. The sustainer. Red comp, which is obviously like a Dynacomp. You can see with the output, it's actually driving the amp like you would if you were boosting the output into a real amp, which is pretty cool. Next, we've got the bass compressor, which is pointless to look at on guitar, and then the optical compressor. The compressors are obviously much more a feel thing. You might be able to hear it a little bit in the video, but now let's get into the dry section. So we have the booster, which is like a microamp drive, I presume. There you go, boost, tube drive, which is kind of like a tube screamer. Definitely sounds like a tube screamer. It's got that mid-hump thing going on. Okay, next got the overdrive, which I guess is like a Boss OD or SD pedal. Okay, next got the fuzz face, which is definitely like an old fuzz face style pedal. Gotta say, these drives do sound pretty convincing. They definitely have the flavors of the pedals they're trying to be. So Black Op will be like a rat style pedal. Okay, next we've got bass muff, which is no point looking at. Guitar muff, so like a big muff style pedal. They do definitely sound like the pedals they're trying to be. Obviously not 100% accurate, but they've got that flavour for sure. So the Bassmaster pedal. Finally, we've got the Sab driver, which is probably maybe like a Sabbath driver, which might be like a Germanium boost. Sounds like it, like a Germanium boost. So there we go, that's all the drives. So now let's have a look at some of the modulations that we get as well. So number one, tremolo, pretty self-explanatory. Next, we've got chorus. Sounds pretty good. Flanger. Phaser, like a MXR Phase 90 probably. Vibrato. Unified. This would be interesting. Next, Clona Chorus, which is like a electro harmonics chorus. Classic vibe. Next, Tremulator. And then finally, a square wave tremolo. Okay, now let's have a look at some of the delays. So digital delay, you can tap in on the amp as well, the BPM, or you can just adjust it yourself. Echo filters. Vintage delay, which looks like a Boss DM2. Reverse delay. Multi-head delay, which looks like an old space echo. Finally, echo tape, which is like an old Echoplex. Finally, we've got a bunch of different reverbs. So the whole way through I was using the short plate. Let's have a look at some of the others. So Studio A, Room. Chamber. Natural Hall. Short plate, which I'll quickly show because you've already heard the whole way through the demo. Ambient Hall. Rich plate, which is like a classic plate by the looks of things. Medium Hall. Long plate. Finally, Room Studio B. So there we have it. That was a look at the Spark by Positive Grid. Definitely one of the most in-depth practice amps. I mean, you can use it as a Bluetooth speaker. You've got all the hardware, but of course, having the software really unlocks the capabilities with up to 30 different amps, 40 different effects, loads of different tones. You've got the tone cloud for different presets, either from Positive Grid or community-driven. Got all the different guitar amps, bass amps, acoustic amps, all the different effects that you can have in chain and really tailor the sound to your liking. This is definitely one of the best and most in-depth practice amps I've played. Having that many different tones at your fingertips to quickly sculpt and get loads of different sounds, and of course save the presets, is really cool. And I think this will really come in handy for a lot of people. You've got the auto chords if you want to load up Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube and learn songs that way. Of course, you've got the backing tracks, the AI learning, so you can play something and it'll automatically generate drums and bass. It's a really killer tool, really killer practice amp. It looks great, sounds pretty good. Of course, you can use it as a USB audio interface. I'm probably missing something because there's so much crammed into this, but it's a really killer unit. I think everyone should have one of these as a practice amp, and especially if you're just starting out, it's a killer beginner amp because you've got so many tones at your fingertips, and of course all those great learning tools as well. But let me know down in the comments what you thought of the Spark, and if you go and pick one up yourself. Again, there's going to be affiliate links down in the description to every piece of gear I use in this video and to record my videos. These do help support the channel out further, so I'd really appreciate if you go and check them out. If you did like this demo video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and hit the little bell notification for me as well. It really does help me out a lot, and that way you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. Other than that, go onto my channel, check out some of my playlists. I have plenty more lessons, covers, gear demos, how to sound like videos, and anything guitar related. As always, I've been Harry, and thanks for watching.